Do cops in the United States of America want civilians to carry a gun? That is the theme of this video, and what I've done is I've interviewed a Chicago sergeant, current on the job, to get that question answered from his point of view. Think of all the cities in America and think of the highest murder rate. Chicago, way up there. So we're going to talk to a cop in this video, get his perspective. Let me say a couple of things. First of all, right now in America, the timing of this video, there's a lot of civil unrest. We hear about cities like Ferguson and riots and the amount of felonies that all these people who are rioting are committing is brutal. I mean, it shouldn't happen. You look at Baltimore, a city where the federal government, the feds have poured over $2 billion in the last couple of years into helping the education of the inner city of Baltimore to help people who are needing funds from the government. And did it work? Didn't work too well, did it? Well, that's really not what this video is about. I know you guys are going to bring it all up in the comments below. But I'm really wanting to soften things for Americans, and thank you for everyone throughout the world for watching. But in America right now, we're dealing with an issue with people not liking the cops all that much. And let me put a different spin on it. When you see this officer, a sergeant from Chicago, and you'll see how he says it, yeah, we need to be armed. I come from a family of law enforcement, including my father, who's paralyzed from the waist down and got hurt in the line of duty. I've done an interview with my dad. You can Google interview with my father, Weapons Education. His brother, my uncle, killed in the line of duty. Cops put their life out there for us. You don't hear about the stories of cops getting killed in the line of duty or wounded for life in the line of duty. You kind of hear only if it's like this type of situation versus this bad guy and the bad guy gets hurt and everyone focuses on that. You know what I'm talking about, for a month straight on the news, and all of a sudden cops are all bad. Cops are good, in my opinion. And of course, in every industry, there's good and bad. So of course, there's some bad cops, obviously. They're not all good, but the majority of them are good. And I want you to listen to this Chicago detective lay it out. I mean, he's right there. I mean, basically in a war zone in Chicago. And I said to him, I grabbed him in Las Vegas, and I was next to him, and I said, can I ask you some questions and put it in front of the world? I know you're presently on the job. And he goes, I want to do it. Tom, he goes, I want to tell your audience, the world, what cops think about civilians who are law-abiding, honest, good civilians. If we all pull together the good people, crime rates will go down. You know, that's what it's all about. So enjoy this video. Thumb up this sergeant. He's a rock star. He's our rock star. This is the kind of cop that I would want if I don't want to get pulled over, but if I had to get pulled over, I had to deal with a cop. And now I need a sergeant. He's way up there, but he's a rock star. He's a good guy. This is the kind of guy I'd want to deal with. He's a good guy, and throw your comments in. I know there's a lot of stress right now going on in America. Let's soften the blow a little bit. Let's show some respect towards law enforcement. If you have stress towards law enforcement, throw it in the comments, but do it respectfully. Or, you know, my staff will take those kind of comments out, because this is a respectful channel. You want to say something negative against police? Do it thoughtfully, respectfully. Good, then we can communicate. Welcome to WeaponsEducation.com, and here is my interview with a Chicago sergeant currently on duty right now as we speak. In your mind, I want the audience to think about this question. In your mind, what do you think law enforcement feels about civilians arming themselves? having a concealed firearm? Well, we're going to hear it straight from a sergeant with the Chicago Police Department. Meet Officer Dave. Dave, please tell the world on how you feel about citizens concealing a gun legally. What do you think?
Well, I think it's great. Unfortunately, there's not enough police out there to cover every situation that happens. A lot of times we get there, it's too late. And I think, you know, if the citizen had a gun and they were able to arm themselves, they'd have more of an opportunity of better survival and protect themselves and their families. So I think it's a great thing that Chicago finally opened up their eyes and passed concealed carry. It's been a long time since a long time coming, should I just say. And it's our God-given right. It's the right of every American, thanks. And I thank our forefathers every day that they created that Constitution and to give us this opportunity that we have today.
So as a sergeant and all the men under you, don't you feel a little bit safer now that you know there's law-abiding citizens carrying guns?
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, there's not enough of us to take care to help everybody out. And if I know that you're armed, listen, it's the old adage. If guns are outlawed, only outlaws are going to have them. They're never going to listen to the laws. They're never going to go out and buy a permit. They're not going to go to the store and buy them legally. It's the law-abiding citizen that does the right thing. So why should the citizen who abides by all the rules be singled out as a bad guy? That's not right. We go through the citizens go through all the right steps to do the right thing. They shouldn't have a problem with carrying a gun.
Dave, as a sergeant with the Chicago Police Department, I want to ask you this question. Guy's carrying a gun, he gets pulled over by a law enforcement officer. Now, you have to go by your state laws. Some states say you have to immediately tell law enforcement if you have a weapon on you. Some don't. But generally speaking, as a law enforcement officer, what do you want to know if the people in the car are legally concealing a gun? Which should they do?
Well, Chicago law is this. Chicago states that if a police officer pulls you over, it's on him to ask you if you are carrying a weapon. And it's your obligation by our state law to say, yes, you do, or no, you don't. But that's the law in Chicago. If you're asked, you need to answer appropriately.
And there's nothing to be stressed out about. It's not a big deal.
Absolutely not.
As a matter of fact, I would think law enforcement thinks more highly of you knowing you've had a background check and you're cleared to carry a gun.
I should hope that every officer does think like that.
And there you go. And we also want to, I'm making this video so everyone in America knows law enforcement cares about us. They are our first line of defense. Besides ourselves, we're our first line of defense for ourselves, and then law enforcement. You know, then we have the military and things like that. But law enforcement's right there for us. We respect law enforcement. As you know, myself, Tom, with Weapons Education, I come from a family of law enforcement, including my father. And it's all good. We respect law enforcement, and this video is to let the world know that law enforcement does support us who conceal guns. Here's living proof, a sergeant, Chicago Police Department, and we want to put some positive comments below thanking law enforcement because they've had some tough times in the last year or two. They've taken some heat undeservingly, and I think we should be more appreciative of law enforcement. Dave, you nailed it. We appreciate the fact that you understand we should carry guns.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good job. Good job.